Hello, 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 hello. Here's the Monday poll question at Smerconish.com. Should there be legal consequences for those who hire day laborers outside Home Depot without verifying their immigration status? More on that in just a moment. Thank you first to my friends at Parx Casino, New York, Philadelphia, Detroit baseball, plus the Pro Golf Tour and Pro Hoops, Pro Hockey. It's all in full swing right now. Live bet it all, wager and watch. Live betting is better on the BetParks app in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland, and on the Play Gun Lake app in Michigan. You can bet individual player performances in baseball, like player hits, home runs, RBIs, strikeouts, or points, rebounds, or more for Pro Hoops playoffs, and much, much more. But whether your favorite team wins or loses, there's always another way for you to win on the BetParks Sportsbook and online casino app and the Play Gun Lake Sportsbook and online casino app. The only apps that I ever use and recommend to bet on sports and to play all my favorite casino games in the palm of my hand. You can play with live dealers right on your phone or play solo from wherever you are. Blackjack, craps, roulette, all the hot online slots, they've got it all. Go to betparks.com or playonlake.com and download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You've got to be 21 and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Maryland for the BetParks app, 21 and in Michigan for the Play Gun Lake app. You love to play, you play to win, you bet. BetParks and Play Gun Lake. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, so the Monday poll question is a follow-up. I did this deliberatively. I did this deliberately. Thank you. The Monday poll question, I'll start over. The Monday poll question is a follow-up to the Sunday poll question, and I did it deliberately. Papadopoulos, thank you. Sunday, here was the question and the result. We had more than 31,000 votes cast. Should ICE surveil day laborers congregating at Home Depot in search of work? 76.03% said no. 76.03% said no. You would expect that 76% would have a decided opinion on the Monday poll question, because today I'm asking about the flip side. I'm not asking about the workers. I'm asking about those who hire the workers. The Monday poll question, should there be legal consequences for those who hire day laborers outside Home Depot without verifying their immigration status? Michael, why are you particularizing this to Home Depot? I'm doing so because of the events in Los Angeles and what really lit the fuse on the last 3 days of standoff and chaos in LA. From the Associated Press, President Trump is deploying 2,000 California National Guard troops to Los Angeles over the objections of Governor Gavin Newsom after a second day of clashes, now a third day of clashes, between hundreds of protesters and federal immigration authorities in riot gear. And then the key part. Confrontations broke out on Saturday near a Home Depot in the heavily Latino city of Paramount, south of Los Angeles, where federal agents were staging a Department of Homeland Security event nearby. Agents unleashed their tear gas, flashbang explosives, and pepper balls, and protesters hurled rocks and cement. In other words, it all began because of something that we've talked about here on a repeat basis, and that is the hiring of day labor, particularly at Home Depots. I remember a very robust call segment that I hosted probably a month ago where it wasn't with any planning. We just kind of stumbled into it, and then I realized we were onto something, and I re-invited people to call the program who had specifically gone to a Home Depot, because people were telling me, like, you go to Home Depot and there'll be a collection of guys and you can go have a deck built and you can go have landscaping done and you can go have, fill in the blank, painting, drywalling, whatever. And I remember doing a call segment and saying, have you ever gone to a Home Depot and just driven up and hired somebody? And we were flooded with calls, absolutely flooded with calls. And on radio that day, we asked about the propriety of individuals who are there, and should ICE be doing something about it? What about the people who hire them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I have to tell you, it's the timing of this could not be better because 3 weeks ago, and I mentioned this on air, 3 weeks ago, one of our sons graduated from law school in Washington, D.C. And so this weekend that just ended, was the move out weekend. As a matter of fact, it was the move out weekend. And then today's the move in day, which is why I'm rather casually dressed today, because when the radio program ends, I am back on the worker clock today to help with the move in. But this was the weekend to move him out. So on Friday, I went to Washington and I was going to sort of kill two birds with one stone because I am without a television studio these days for reasons I've shared in short spurts, but I'll tell you more about that later. But I need to go elsewhere to deliver my CNN program for the next probably month and a half. So I went down to Washington on Friday, and the idea was I'll deliver my CNN program from the CNN headquarters in Washington, and then immediately thereafter, I will suit up and pitch in and help my son move out of his apartment. So Friday night, we go to dinner. And at dinner on Friday night, by the way, doing the weave, but it's all going to come back. Friday night at dinner, my son said to me, "Dad, I got a lot of stuff. There are limits on how many hours I can use the elevator to get out of my apartment building. What I'm telling you, Dad, is we could use another set of hands." And I'm like, okay, I don't know how we're going to make that happen. It's 7 o'clock on Friday night. We should have thought about this ahead of time. Oh, and Dad, I couldn't sell the sofa. You couldn't sell the sofa? No. Could you give it away? No. Nobody wants the sofa. So I'm like, well, this is going to be a problem because how the hell are we going to get rid of the sofa? Again, it's Friday night at 7 p.m. We should have thought about this in advance. So we had a small panel truck rented, a U-Haul, small U-Haul panel truck rented, but we figured we were already going to fill that. So what are we going to do with the sofa? I don't know. So my son said, well, I can solve both of these by using TaskRabbit. Okay, what's TaskRabbit? Well, it's an app and you can pretty much hire anybody to do anything. And I'm like, okay, but it's 7 o'clock on Friday night. How are we going to make this work? Within minutes and before our dinner had arrived, he has hired someone to show up at noon the next day to help us for 2 hours move. And he's hired somebody else to show up at noon for a reasonable price to haul away the sofa. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Okay. Saturday, I go and I do the CNN program, put on a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, pick up the U-Haul with my son, and now we start the move process. The guy shows up to do the lifting with us. That was cool. And I have to tell you something funny that happened. So we're in an apartment building and you reserve one elevator. They put up mats on the interior. Every other day it just transports passengers, but now you can use it to haul, to move in and to move out. So one of the first things we do is we take the sofa, because it was big and bulky and now there were three of us, and we move the sofa downstairs. We position it adjacent to the U-Haul and also adjacent to the trash bins. Okay, work with me on this now. And now we start moving things and we're filling the truck and we go back upstairs and we fill the truck and we go back upstairs. And about an hour passes and we're loading the truck and we're only gone from the truck in 15-minute increments to go back upstairs to the apartment on the elevator and get more stuff. So now guy number 2, procured from TaskRabbit, shows up. Oh, you're here for the sofa? Oh, right over. What? Where the hell's the sofa? Sofa is gone. Sofa is gone. And we're at the same time elated, like, yeah, the sofa's gone. And I don't have to pay the guy $80 to haul the sofa. And then we're like, wait a minute, who took the sofa? And how could they know? How could they know clearly? Because the U-Haul is here and the trash is here and the sofa's in between. How could they have known for sure? And then we say, that sofa was a 3-man job. Like, how did three guys suddenly materialize and haul away the sofa? They couldn't have used an elevator, so they weren't in this building because the only elevator you can use to move, we had locked off. It was crazy. It was crazy. This funny thing is, this is very close to the Sirius XM studios. I don't know if you guys watched my Instagram this weekend, but when the U-Haul was loaded and we are literally like cruising out of Dodge, out the window is the Sirius XM studio. And I'm like, "Hey Dan, hi Brian, how you guys doing?" And we are just cruising off. It was really, really funny. It was really, really a funny, funny thing that happened. But my point is this: I don't know anything about these guys that I hired. I don't know anything about. My son doesn't know anything about them. We hired both of them on TaskRabbit. They showed up. One guy's name was Javier. Spoke perfect English. Drove up in a small electric vehicle. Nothing fancy. The other guy showed up in a banged up old Mercedes van. I can't say, well, he looked foreign. I don't know anything about them. But to bring this all back to Home Depot, I did not go to Home Depot. I did not go and just pick up guys who were obviously, migrant day laborers, but I used TaskRabbit. Is it incumbent on me when one guy shows up to haul the sofa or the other guy shows up to help us move, that I have to ask them, where are your papers? I mean, I just thought it was an amazing ability that I had to just hire labor quickly, and that's what people are doing at Home Depot. There's an editorial today in the Wall Street Journal that sums up my thinking on this issue overall. The deportation wars begin. And this all comes back to what I've been discussing here for weeks. What are we going to do about the short order cook in Jersey City? And now it's come full circle because we all want to get rid of the rapists and the murderers and the assaulters and the people who've broken into this country and are committing more violations. But what do we do about those who committed the original sin? They came into the country illegally and then or overstayed a visa. But ever since, they've worked hard and they've kept their noses clean, and maybe they're raising families and they're paying taxes, and they've gotten a driver's license in those states like California or New York or New Jersey that allow it. And they really want to earnestly be good citizens. I believe we need to provide them a path to citizenship. I think that the vast majority of the people that we're talking about are decent, hardworking, would be good citizens, and we need them. We need new blood. We need people who are going to do the work that Americans won't do. And don't tell me Americans will do it if you pay more, because a lot of the, Mike Rowe-ish dirty jobs, Americans are not going to do. And in this editorial of the Wall Street Journal, they pretty much say where I am on this. I'll pick it up midstream. But the White House, led by Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, wants to deport everyone here illegally. This means millions of people who arrived illegally but have since led law-abiding, productive lives. They have formed families. They have taken jobs that employers say they struggle to fill in construction, in hospitality, agriculture, healthcare, and much, much more. Mr. Miller and the restrictionists want to deport everyone to send a message never to come again. And the Wall Street Journal then goes on to address that point of view. What are you saying, Michael? I'm saying this. I don't believe that we should be surveilling, to answer the Sunday poll question, I don't believe that we should be surveilling Home Depots, and nor do I think there should be legal consequences for those who hire day laborers outside of Home Depot or on TaskRabbit. As I had to do this weekend because I found out Friday night before a Saturday move, we got something we can't get rid of, and we also need an extra set of hands. That's why I'm asking these questions back to back. And I'll say something else again, which is that this is such a big issue. I have 20 aggregated news links in each day's newsletter. And this is a rarity, but it happens when there's a major, major event. The top 6 links at Smerconish.com. The top 6 links today all pertain to the immigration issue. My first story is from the Associated Press, third straight day of LA chaos. My second story is from the New York Post, which, by the way, I picked up today at Wawa. Mexican flag bearer, perfect Trump fodder. I wrote that headline. And what I'm saying is that the more you see some of those who are causing chaos in LA waving Mexican flags, the better it is for Donald Trump. It continues to be a winning issue for him, and it will be more so. Then I've got another story from the Washington Post, which takes you really close to ground zero at the Home Depot where this all began. I have polling data from CBS News showing that the migration enforcement issue, the border enforcement issue, continues to be the strongest issue that Trump has in his repertoire, although that polling was from prior to the last 3 days. Then I've got another story from Yahoo News that is all about the legal intricacies. Can Trump really deploy the National Guard in this situation if Newsom doesn't want them there? And can Hegseth really use the Marines if it comes to that? And then finally, in terms of link number 6 from today's newsletter, the Wall Street Journal editorial that I was just quoting from. So a lot of fodder to start the week. The poll question that I'm asking: should there be legal consequences for those who hire day laborers outside Home Depot without verifying their immigration status? Go cast a ballot on that poll question, okay? Vote on the Monday poll question right now. It'll be interesting to see if the margin, 76% said yesterday, don't surveil outside the Home Depot. You would think by rights, 76% would say, and there shouldn't be legal consequences for those who hire day laborers in such an environment. I want to do a comparison, but that'll have to wait until you vote, and I'll know the result and share it tomorrow. Okay, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, and please set yourself up for notifications. Thank you, gang.